Hi everybody and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. I'm Kathi Ondas and today is Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. I am excited to share with you probably one of my favorites for card making. It's new. It's from Gina K Designs and I think it's called Essential Zinnias, and I'm going to bring that in and show you. Now, anything I show you is truly what I have bought to use for myself. I do not at this point have any affiliations or affiliates with any of the stamp companies. So it's things I love, and I just want to share some techniques and ways to use different types of products. Now, I still will be posting on my blog so that you can find measurements and things there. I am putting links to where you can find the supplies, the major supplies I'm using, and it simply takes you over to whoever's product it is. You can find almost all of these on scrapbook.com, Simon Says Stamps, and then the independent manufacturers. So with that said, I'm excited to show you, and we're going to just flip this down and get started. If you're with me live, please leave me a comment. Let me know that you can see and hear me well. Still want to make sure that eCam is working for me and for you. And we're going to start crafting. We're going to flip this down to my desktop. So I want to show you what I'll be using. This is brand new. It just came out maybe 2 weeks ago. And this is a 3D embossing folder by Gina K. It's called Sensational Zinnias. Really beautiful. And it comes with 2 die cuts. Now, these were together. You didn't have to cut them apart to use them. I did cut mine apart. And then it comes with 5 stencils. And these are layering stencils. So tonight I want to show you how to use these stencils, but how to actually use your inks and your brushes with stenciling to get more dimension to your card. I'm also then going to show you how to use this to get a completely different look using colored cardstock. So let's get started. I am starting off with a piece of basic white that is 4¼ by 5. And I want to emboss this, so I want to get a really good impression. So what I'm going to do is spray this with water. I have some water here, and I'm just going to lightly spritz it on both sides. And then I'm going to put it into my embossing folder and place it where I can get full images of all 3 flowers and stems. Now in the end, I'm going to cut this down so it won't really matter. But then I'm going to run it through. Now use the sandwich that's best for you. I'm using a Gina K Intracut, so this is just the base plate, and I set my dial on 3, and then I run this through just with the base plate and the folder. Now, because I can't run it through and I don't have someone here to help me, I did have it done ahead of time, and this is the image that you get from this embossing folder. It's just beautiful and so much dimension. So we're going to color this and then make a card, and then I have a couple more to show you. Now I like to use different colors in my especially because I grow zinnias and dahlias and I love the colors in them. But I saw I saw Gina K do a demonstration using another um, uh, embossing folder, and it was just beautiful. So, hi Twyla, thanks for joining. So we're going to do that with this one. The techniques that I'm going to show you are applicable to any of your blending, and really pretty with florals. So these are the embossing folders. There are 5 of them. And the first one you're going to see is this large that covers the complete flower. Now this is good if you just want to use it maybe to color and then cut it with the die. It's also great if you want to use white craft ink. We won't be using this today. I'm going to set that aside. But then we have 4 other stencils, and you can see this is the largest, and then goes down in size, and then the smallest. So this also has the stems. So we're going to start off with the largest image first. I'm going to set all these off to the side. And because I'm using a sticky mat, I don't need to tape this down. If you're using just using some tape and putting it to your surface, just use a low-tack tape so that you can easily remove it. Now this lines up really perfectly, and you can, I'm just going to line this up here. Let me get this here. And that looks good, so I'm going to stick that down. And then I'm going to bring this up a little bit here and stick that down. So that looks pretty good. All right, so I'm going to be using 2 colors. Now you can use one color and just start off lightly and build on that color. But and I'll show you that as we go along, but then a little bit further in, I'm going to show you what it would be like to add a second color. Now I'm using a variety of blending brushes since switching some of my supplies over. So I'm using some Alta New, I'm using some of my old ones. So we're just going to kind of go with it. So I'm going to ink up, and I'm using Gina K Designs, her premium dye inks. And this color is, gosh, Dusty Rose. I knew it was rose. And we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to pick up some of my ink. And because I'm going to start, I'm just going to kind of tap off here because then I can pick that up. I'm going to start in my center because I want the darkest of the ink in the center. And as I move out, I am going to lighten up on my pressure. Now I am going to leave the tips of some of my petals white because I think that adds to the dimension of the floral image as you go along. So, and you can see I have some white tips. I'm building up in the middle, and then as I go out, I'm lightening up because of the lighter pressure. Now I want to get a little bit more ink here in the middle, so I'm going to pick up some of this and just go around. Now I'm going to come in with a smaller brush. I want to try that. And just kind of go around the center, really adding that ink to the inner layer of the flower. And hopefully you can see me doing that. And then as I move out, I'm going to leave some of those edges white, and some will be a little whiter than others. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do this with the other flowers too. So I'm going to go ahead, and because you're going to see some of these are a little bit smaller, so I'm going to lighten up a little bit earlier in my blending. I don't know about you, but I find blending very relaxing. I really love adding color to my images that way. This is such a versatile stamp set or embossing and stencil set that I want to show you I actually did 2 more cards that I have to show you. But the one, and one is using craft ink with a colored cardstock. But the other one got ruined because I did the layer and set it on the desk and walked away from my workspace. And I came back to it in Cooper's mouth. So part of it was torn, and I will show it to you, but I'll have to redo it and then post it on my website. I'm going to go ahead and add some more here, and we're going to just work that color around. I hope you're having a good beginning to your week and that you had a good weekend. It's been kind of crummy here in Cleveland the last couple days. Real humid and rainy. But today, the sun kind of popped out and things are looking like they're going to improve at least for the next 24 hours. All right, so you can see I have darker around the middle portion and lighter as I moved out. Now, let's say you want to stay with one color. You can build that color up just around the center, and you're going to get a whole new look, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Let me peel this back partially so you can see that you've got the dark up in the center of the flower and it lightens out. So you can build your colors with just one ink. But I want to add a little bit more to this. So I'm going to bring in some faded brick. And this is, we're going to add this to the center of these flowers. So I'm going to tap off because it is much darker. And I'm going to keep it right on the inside of the flower. I want to give it a little bit more oomph to the color. Okay, and let's go ahead and do that to all of these. And just taking it around the center, staying away from my edges. Okay, and I don't want to get these mixed up. Here's the faded brick that we're using, and just going to come in here and do the same. So just adds a little bit of dimension to this. Okay, so I do have some just copy paper here, and I'm going to clean off my brush. I do use one brush for color families. It helps to save and not have to buy as much. And then I just clean them. So there's the first layer. Now we're ready to start on our second layer. And this one is going to fit like, let me line these up here. Oop, there we go. Nope, that's not it at all. That isn't going to work, but this is. So I'm going to line these up here and move these out of the way so they don't get on my flowers. And those look lined up pretty well. Just want to make sure, there they are, and then press it down and my mat will hold it. Now we're going to go back to the Dusty Rose. And again, we're going to kind of repeat, starting in the center and working our way out. And just lightening up as I go out towards the edge of the petals. And just build your color that way. If you're here with me live, or even if you're here in the replay, leave me a comment. What is your favorite medium or favorite way to color your images? I love coloring, so I really love to use all mediums, but I particularly enjoy using layering stencils. I just think you can add so much dimension to them, your images, and just make them come alive. I also love alcohol markers, but I'm still working. I do okay, but I would like to do better. So I'm still working with those. Okay, so we're just going to add, this is a little bit of a process, so, but I think you'll be really surprised at the image in the end. And I'm just working from center on out. And you can see that. Okay. Let's go ahead and we're going to add a little bit this way. Okay, and pick up a little bit more ink here. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch over to my faded brick and pick up here and dab off, and we're going to start here in the center again and then just add right up in the middle of the flower some depth and dimension. These two colors are beautiful together. Play with your colors, whatever inks you're using. Pick out two that you think will complement one another and look good together, and then just by adding pressure and taking pressure away, work with them and see what a gorgeous image you're going to get. Okay, and let's go for the center here. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more here, bring that out. Okay, now I'm going to clean this off. And I'm going to go back to my Dusty Rose here. And I'm going to blend lightly so that these just kind of blend seamlessly. And I'm just very light pressure doing this. Just to blend that out just a little bit more. Not really looking to add a lot more color. And let's go ahead and let's remove this. And you can see how our zinnia is starting to take some shape. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Crafty Adventures. Now, just FYI, for cleaning my stencils, I use alcohol. And I just use a cloth. And I try to clean them right away. I just give it a little spritz. And then I kind of dab the ink away. Because you have a lot of times with these, you have some really fine points that can rip or get caught and get bent. And I find that using the alcohol and the microfiber cloth really works well. Here's our third stencil. So I'm going to line this up. And they line up pretty easily. But I want to make sure that I have them right where they belong. So let's start here. All right. And then I'm just gonna edge them, work around the edge a little bit to get them where they need to be. All right, that looks good. Now we're gonna go back to our dusty rose and pick that up. And again, start in the center, and you want to get most of your color in the center of the flower. And then as you work out, I like to again leave a little bit of white around the edges of some of my petals, or most of my petals. So let's go ahead and pick some more up. And I'm barely adding any pressure at all as I move out. But isn't that pretty? I really think they look so pretty. Now here I'm going to do the same, but these are smaller petals, so you can use a smaller brush if you want. I find this one works really pretty well. And make sure that I dab my color, get it heavier around the edge. Okay, and let's go ahead with this one. So you can see it kind of taking a whole new shape or look to it as we work our way around the petals here. I am excited to show you the other one I made. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I promise to try to watch. Okay. All right, let's stop there because we can always go back. And I'm going to go ahead with my faded brick and pick some up, and then again start in the center and just going to work my way around. And just kind of taking my time. I appreciate those of you here with me taking time out of your day to join me for some crafting fun. I know with my switching to using a variety of crafts has been hard, at least for those of you, I'm guessing, that have followed me for the last 5 years. So I hope you'll enjoy seeing other products as much as I've been enjoying using them. I'm going to go back in and pick up a little dusty rose and just go a little bit over, blending out, just blending those two colors together so that they look nice and even. All right, we're coming up on our last stencil. All right, let's pick this up and kind of see the reveal here. There, what do you think? This stencil set is Sensational Zinnias. It is a Gina K product. It comes with the 3D embossing folder and the 5 stencils and 2 dies. And I'll show you those just a little bit more. I showed them in the beginning, but I will show them to you a little bit more as soon as we're done here. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to add to my center. And I'm going to pick up with my dusty rose. This is the center of the flower. And I'm going to go lightly in and I'm going to cover the whole thing. I'm going to do that for all the centers. And just work my way around. And then okay, so that looks pretty good. Now let's go ahead and grab some, pick up a little bit of our faded brick, and gonna darken this up a little bit, right in the center. And we can always make it a little darker if we want to. All right. So there's our flowers, but I'm not going to take this off yet because we now are going to do the stems. And this fourth stencil allows you to do the stems and the leaves. So I am using jelly bean green, and I'm going to grab a brush here, and we're going to color jelly bean green, and I'm just gonna lightly move, keeping the darker part up towards the center portion where the stem is, and lightening up on my grip, lighting up the grip as I move out. And I'm gonna cover up my stems. Got a little dark there, but we'll go with it. And just add a little bit in here. I'm going to come in with the second color for the green. But again, trying to leave some of my leaves, the tips, a little bit lighter. And let's go back down here. And add a little bit of color. Okay, let's go with that. Now I'm going to come in with my second color, and that is fresh asparagus. Again, I'm using the Gina K inks. And I'm going to bring in my brush and just clean a little bit of that ink off. And I'm going to pick up some of this. Now I want to, in fact, I'm going to go with a smaller brush. Let me take a look here. I'm going to go with a smaller brush. I want to add just a little bit of, tap some of that off, a little bit of darkness like a shadow up at the top of the stem, where if you were looking at the stem, you know, the flowers at the top, and there'd be just a little bit of a shadow there. I'm going to pick up some of this ink, and I'm going to do the same thing down here. All right, now I'm going to go in and add a little bit with my leaves. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to go up along the edge, just a little bit. And I'm going to do the same here. Now, because that flower's there and there'd be maybe a little bit of a shadow, I'm going to darken that up with my fresh asparagus. And then come on over here, and we're going to add again down at the bottom here. And I'm going to go on up one side just to kind of give it a little bit of a shading. Isn't that so pretty? All right. I'm going to come back in. Now, let's use this one. I'm going to add a little bit of the jelly bean green just right in here, real light to even out that color. Okay, I think that looks good. Let's peel that away and see the reveal. And then we're going to go back to stencil number 3 because there are 2 areas of the leaf that are embossed here that you can darken up. And I'm going to add my fresh asparagus there and just give it a little bit more of a shadow. All right, I think we're done. So let's cover these up so I don't stick my hand in them and kind of get them out of the way here. And let's peel this off. And let me lift this up for you and show you the flowers. Can you see the dimension in that? And you can see I got a little bit of green there. I'm not going to worry about it. So now let's make our card. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And I've got a card base. I'm using just a white card base. For my blending, I actually used Hammer Mill. They're 100-pound white because it's really smooth and your inks just blend, it seems like seamlessly with it. So I have just a white card base. This is 4¼ by 11, scored at 5½. And then I cut a panel layer of black. Now for my layers, I'm using Waffle Flowers piercing layer dies. And they cut, I have 2 of them. If you get one, they're 1/4 inches apart. They're nested. There's also a second set that allows you to go between the 2 and you get a really pretty 1/8 of an inch border. So I have one cut in black, and then I have one of the nested ones, and we're going to trim this down. It's almost kind of a shame to do that, but we're going to trim this and layer it. So I want to make sure that I get the whole flower here on the top, and we'll go from there. So let's go ahead, and I am going to run this through my die cutting machine. So I am using an electric machine since having surgery because I can't do the cranking for almost a year. So we're going to cut this right there, and I'm going to run it through, and I will be right back. You'll be able to hear it. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead, and we've cut that out. And we are ready to layer. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to put it on the black because I think that's going to make it pop. And because have an embossed layer, I like to use liquid glue because I feel it kind of gets in the cracks and crevices and helps that embossed layer stick down. Tape is, the 2-sided tape is good, or tape runner. The only problem for me is I don't do anything straight the first time, and the tape runner doesn't allow me to wiggle or move it around. So I'm just going to line these up here and give it a good press. I'm going to turn this over, and I am going to lay one of my blocks on it for just a minute, and then we're going to adhere it. Now for the greeting, I went ahead and I stamped my greeting. I wanted to make an anniversary card. I thought this would make a really pretty anniversary card. So I went ahead and I'm using Graceful Greetings from Gina K. And I stamped the happy anniversary, and these have matching dies to cut out the words. And these are greetings that happy birthday, congratulations on your accomplishments, get well, happy anniversary, many thanks. So it's a good basic set that I've enjoyed using. And I did do one, and I die cut it, but then I cut 4 of the die cuts individually and glued them together. And we're going to adhere this to that, and that's what we're going to use for our greeting. So we're ready to apply this and finish up our card. Make sure I have it opening at the bottom. And we're just going to go ahead and adhere that down. Move that over just a little bit. Hence why I use the glue. It helps me to do that. So here's our card. Now let's go ahead and add our greeting to our mats here. I guess that's a good way to put it. And I'm just using my precision glue tip from Sweet Petunia. I've had this for about 3 years. I love it. And we're going to go ahead and adhere this right to that. And then just kind of press them together. And you have, look at the dimension that you have there. So I thought this would be pretty, maybe right across here. I could move it up. Yeah, I think we're going to go down, and then we're going to add some gems, and then I have the other card to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and do this with my multi-purpose glue, and just add that right about here. Make sure it's straight. All right. And then I'm going to drop that on it. Now I thought it would be pretty with the black to add some little beads, and I will have these in my post. These are also Gina K. They're gold and silver and black. They are not self-adhering, so I have them all over the place here, but that's okay because I want to use the black ones, I think. So you do have to use a fine tip glue to add them. So let's see where we're going to add these. And let's pick up the black one. Maybe we'll do one here. Okay, off my finger, little guy. Oh, they are stuck on my finger, so I'm going to put a dab of glue there and one here. And let's go ahead and add these. Let's see, I hope my head isn't in the way, but I'm going to try and pick these up here. All right. Let's take this off and bring this in so you can see it. And I'm just going to set that right there. Let's pick up another one since they're all over the place and add one here. Let's add maybe one here. I'm going to add 5 to this. And one here. And one here. They're so tiny, and I think they add so much to the card. Let's pick this up. They kind of turn over, and you have to kind of fuss with them, but in the end, they do look very pretty. So let's add this. All right, let's try getting a different one. And then let's do one more. See if I can flip that over. There we go. And set that right there. So let me move all of this out of the way because I have some more to show you. So here's our card. Let me pick that up for you. And hopefully you can see the detail and the dimension in that. Let me show you another way you can do it. Now this is the one that the dog ate, but I did each one a different color. And he kind of pulled a piece off here with his tooth, and I tried to fix it, and he also got his teeth in here. And I'm going to redo this, but you can do each flower a different color. Isn't that beautiful? So that would be another option. Now, the other one I did, I took a piece of blue denim cardstock, which is a Gina K color. And remember when we went back, or when I first showed you the stencils, I said that biggest stencil that we weren't going to use, you could use to like add craft white ink. Well, I didn't use this to do it, but you could. The other thing is I took my stencils, just like you saw me do as we made this card, and I added craft white ink, again a little heavier in the middle and moving out. And I really liked the effect that I got. I thought it was really pretty, and I thought it was a great sympathy card. So a couple different ideas. Now someone had asked what it's called, and I said the Sensational Zinnias. And it does come with the 2 dies. So I did do 2 flowers to show you what they would look like. And what I did is I cut the flowers out of a white cardstock, and then I placed them inside the embossing folder and embossed them. And then I just put them to my sticky mat, and I colored them just like I did these. But these I used a little bit different colors because I was just playing with them to use them for the first time. So let's say you did that and you wanted to add a 4th flower and pop it up with some foam. I mean, you could do that. So lots of options, just a really beautiful bundle or set to be able to use. I'm going to bring it back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I really enjoyed doing it and sharing with you. I love using new products, and I love learning new things and hopefully passing them on to you. So I hope you have a great, great week. I hope you'll try this coloring that I learned from watching Gina K on some of your own embossing folders and stencils that match. I hope you'll join me again next Tuesday, and have a great week. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you soon. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Feel free to share it. It does help me grow my channel. It's like starting over all new after switching from one company to using many products. So I appreciate you. Thank you a lot. Have a great night.